Come closer.
Oh,
So I know how to direct the next words they will be saying, not to me.
face.
Yes.
Oh, who's going to say the face?
Don't worry. I will show you now. Preparing for 2023. Yes, I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away. Welcome back to Signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks. My name is Adeomi Oshodi. This morning, we're going to be having a conversation around being smarter with tech for 2023. How do we prepare for 2023? 2023 is tomorrow. The numbers just changes, but our lives continue. So I have with me is a technology professional who delivers value at the intersection of tech and HR. A graduate of pure and applied physics from the prestigious University of Lagos. Okay, he's an Oracle certified programmer and ITL practitioner. You explained that one to me. With over a decade working in technology roles from server infrastructure to business application support, he has delivered value working in and for the biggest local and multinational companies in Nigeria. He's currently the product manager at Human Manager, a subsidiary company of System Spec. I have with me Akinjide Omojola.
Hello, welcome everybody.
Welcome to Signals. Yes, the people are going to be singing like this. So we're talking preparing for 2023, right? And this complex. Thank you. Good. What should we prepare for? How's your 2022 been like first?
Well, on a personal level, it's been a good time. We thank God for everything that's happened. There's a lot of progress all around. On the business level also, we've broken new grounds and we're planning to break even more new grounds as we approach 2023.
Well, one thing that has stuck so much is people leaving Nigeria. Yes, and while we're having a conversation before we came on, you talked about, and I want you to explain more, mission-mindedness. Yes, our best guys are leaving. How's that been like? Tell us.
Yeah, so as a professional in the tech industry in particular, it's been a very, very tough year. A very tough series of years, in fact. Pre-2020, nobody was particularly scared. We've always had a problem of brain in Nigeria. Pre-2020, we knew there was this steady flow of people and capital flight leaving the country. However, what happened after the pandemic came, and the pandemic basically forced everybody all over the world to be able to work remotely. And all of a sudden, light bulbs opened up everywhere, turned up all over the world, and started showing leaders all over the world that they could hire talent from anywhere else. And interesting, that helped the globalization of talent. Now, there were two categories. Initially, when people couldn't even travel, they were being hired remotely from abroad to do the same jobs as other people abroad were doing for cheaper rates. But as the travel side of the pandemic now was restored, people could travel, vaccination and all of that, people are now being even hired, paid to relocate, migrated abroad at faster rates. And that has encouraged a lot of people in the industry. So it's been a tough thing, especially this year, that this year was the recovery year all over the world. This was the year people got back to going back to offices, their life continued be closest to the pre-COVID situation. So it's been tough for us local businesses because our best talents are being migrated outside the country every time. You have people who are even in the country tell you they are resigning. Why are you leaving? They won't tell you no, but have a better offer. And by the time you want to meet the offer, but when the guy is quoting you in dollars, you're like, okay, don't worry, we can release you. You can go. So there's been a lot of drama around this. We just need to innovate new ways to keep as much talent as we can locally.
Have you had cases where you had to employ somebody from abroad coming to Nigeria?
Okay, so interestingly for us,
that would be nice to hear.
Just for us as a tech company, we've not had that particular thing. Even though from time you go to for those of us in Lagos, you go to the Anthony Lupoju site. There are a lot of Indian technical talents that live there. So historically, talents also come to Nigeria to do a lot of work.
Mm.
However, for my company, why I say interesting is because we had even started outsourcing parts of our services to people abroad. We had employees who want to go for masters, but we value their talent. So even though the guy moved to Canada or to US,
They can continue.
They can continue. We kept him on payroll. We build the necessary security infrastructure around our work, our processes to make sure that they can still work remotely, and they can. But when COVID now hits, a lot of that has happened across the industry. A lot of people are recruited from abroad. You know, many banks today. There was a time about in the last quarter where it was rumored that the banks had lost many of their guys.
Yeah, because our app stopped working.
Exactly. So a lot of people are now looking to cross recruit. Okay. So not only are we losing talent abroad, we can also gain talent from abroad. But of course, they are much more expensive. You also have the foreign exchange risk. Dollar can be 500 today and 700 tomorrow.
800.
So just by virtue of time, your cost can easily skyrocket. So that's what's making it a little bit difficult. But when you really have particular talents that you want, people are doing lots of cross transnational recruitments.
Okay, now let's even look at tech, money, and all of that. How do we become smarter with tech in 2023? It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
life continues.
Life continues. So if you look at the way technology has extended in the last couple of years, first of all, look at the bottom lines of many of these tech companies, Zoom, Facebook, a lot of these companies, Skype, a lot of these Microsoft, a lot of these guys have actually made a lot of money in the last 2 to 3 years. That's because as in-person engagement became more expensive because of the pandemic and all the things, alternatives had to be built. So a lot of technology companies, from whether communication, infrastructure, services, applications, actually grew in business. Even local companies grew in businesses. Why? Because people had to see local alternatives as the foreign exchange cost also grew. So there's a lot of positives that tech companies can take in that. However, the way as an individual where you can gain benefits, and I noticed this program is listened to by both small business owners and big businesses and normal people. So I
talent too, because before they resume in January and their key staff has decided to japa.
Exactly. So again, one of the things you need to do is, as an employer in a big business, you need to consider employer branding.
Okay.
People are not
what does
only
that mean?
So employer branding is the concept that an employer should see himself as somebody selling not only to the customers consuming your products or services, but to your employees. So before, we beg to apply. Now you beg them to apply.
I stay.
so technically speaking, you need to not just, as a business owner, as a leader in a business, you serving customers, people consume your services, people consume your products, but you also need to be able to convince talent to move to your own side of the aisle. So for instance, what is your social media engagement? A lot of people put stuff on WhatsApp that will make you not want to work for them. And the person that is you are trying to post to hire to, you sent him a chat, you sent him a message. He gets to be able to see your status. He's seen your status over time and seen that
we can press mute.
So he's thinking, man, I don't want to work for this person. Your political alignment. So you need to be a lot more careful and deliberate about how you present yourself and the organization online, because now everybody can review you. Many employers in Nigeria don't know about applications like Glassdoor, My Salary, applications that will let people know a little bit about what goes on in your company, what your pay levels are, whether your employees are generally satisfied. There's a lot you can do in terms of employer branding. Also, is things that you do at the end of the year like this. It is very good if an employer can sort of find some sort of additional benefits. I'll give you an instance. On our platform, one of the platforms that we have, as an employer, your employees can have access to loans. Okay. Now, you're a small business, and this platform is strictly for small businesses. Yeah. So you cannot give a loan
and everybody
yourself.
That is listening, because
so you cannot give a loan yourself. You are a small business, you're even barely trying to pay salaries. But by coming on a platform, a HR platform like ours, right, we have provided access to lenders who will check out your employees and pay them and give them a loan. So if as an employer you've enhanced your brand value to your employer. Say, oh, by coming on my organization, by joining us, I know from time to time you will need, salary advances, quick loans.
Okay.
I have a platform that can help you to get. We are not saying you are going to give them, because your secretary will come and start asking you for money.
Yes.
So you are not taking the risk, but you are leveraging on other people who are willing to provide that service to you and to your employees, but you enhance your employer brand. Employers need to look at things like, oh, okay, today you just pay them salary, maybe do a transfer to them from your USSD bank profile. But what about giving someone that comes with a pay slip?
Okay.
They feel that, oh, they're working in a structured organization. They don't feel like they're just working like for a one-man business or a small business somewhere. They feel like they're working in a properly structured organization. So apart from the social media, there's also business enhancements you can provide that can help them to see that this is a forward-looking business and it enhances your employer brand. So that's what we talk about. There's a lot to talk about in employer brand.
Well, I think now that you have even gone there, it's one thing for let me play a little bit of devil's advocate. It's one thing for us to look at the employer brand. Let's look at the employees, right? Because I don't want to lose this particular stuff, and because it's other companies abroad are competing for this talent that I'm having, right? Where then do we now draw the line where people are very good, they're good at they are good, but attitude to work is a mess.
Yeah. So again, employers, like I said, have a lot of responsibility because you are in business to make profit typically.
Okay, let's be putting that profit first.
Yeah.
Well, people first, profit first. I don't even know which comes first.
I think obviously you need to make profit to be able to take care of your people.
True.
Okay, but not everything is profit. So, for instance, today you can sign up to and buy courses for your staff on areas where they are weak. You have to go out as a small business owner and plan the development of employees. Now, when employees see that they are getting something apart from money, it's another old factor. If, for instance, so and so person, I just saw this sales course, for you to learn how to sell better. Oh, you can go on this course. We need to now go ahead as business owners, as business leaders, and therefore craft the direction for employees. There's something in HR we call career congruence. That means that you want to make sure that there's a connection, between the goals of the employee who has his own goals. Maybe he wants to pay his students' school fees, he wants to be able to buy a house, he wants to be able to pay rent, he wants to be able to buy a car. And your own goals as a company, I want to make 5 million naira in profit this year. You need to be the one designing that career congruence. Many employers will say, I bet people should develop careers themselves, they should train themselves.
Yeah, but some people are always like, if I train this person, the person will go.
Yes, but the reality is this: if you don't train them, you still go. And if you don't train them, the best ones who train themselves will go without any sense of loyalty to you, and you get stuck with the ones who don't want to develop themselves. So
and that's more headache.
Exactly, that would be actually a problem for you. So there's obviously it's a balancing act. You're not going to be a Father Christmas. You're not going to be giving things freebies anyhow. But for a small business, so you can identify the one out of your 3 staff who seems to be lining up with you. You may not be the most talented.
Yeah, that's another one.
But you see, this person is devoted as a faithfulness to the company's direction. You may not be the most talented, maybe the youngest person, maybe the least talented person. But your job will not be to be providing sort of capacity building opportunities for that person. Now, not all these things are even expensive or have cost. There are a lot of courses out there that are free. But the difference between you as a business owner who's focused on that career congress concept and the person who's not focused, that by and large, overall, you have a better chance of keeping your best talents because you're actually investing in their talents. You're not just thinking and paying them a salary. Okay. So those are some of the things that, as we enter a new year, we need to focus. And where tech comes in, is that some of these things are now freely available to you. You can browse through Coursera and say, okay, part of what I do every month, I look for a course for each of my staff. Maybe a free course, maybe a $10 course, maybe a $5 course. You can do other things here and there. You can come on platforms like I said earlier that provide additional credit access for your employees. You can do a lot of other things here and there. You can provide them more documentation. And so these are the things that as an employer going to 2023, we need to consider. For the employee, well, we know the economy is tough.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone yesterday and was asking for salary raise.
I call it thank you.
But the reality is, employees have to be more strategic.
Mm.
You need to be sure that where you are going to is not a company where you struggle to get paid. And then you also need to have a realistic expectations. A lot of people go from a company that's giving them maybe 50,000 per month, 100,000 per month. So this other company that's paying them maybe 10,000 increase. And guess what happens? The guy pays the first 2 months. He told me that there's something that's a problem. But you already burnt a bridge. In fact, the way you left the previous place, you left so badly that you cannot go back. So those are realities. Also, people should learn to employ gig work.
Okay, what does that mean?
Now, gig economy or gig work is that you are spending some of your time on different projects. So you are working for company A for a short time. You're working for company B a short time. So you're a freelancer basically. Now, many of the things we do for our current companies we can do on the side for other companies. So for employees, they need to skill up and be able to manage their time such a way that they can do some of it without, not delivering value to each of those companies that they work for. So a lot of that is happening now. You are doing, and again, we are talking about different types of people here. Yeah. We're talking about traditional freelance companies like logistic companies, where the guy delivers goods for multiple people. Now, you will be surprised that now on WhatsApp, on Telegram, there are groups that are dedicated to rating logistics and delivery guys.
Rate?
Yeah, to rate them. Say, this guy is good, this guy is not good. Now, by the time 200 small business users on Telegram say you are not good,
that's business
you
gone.
will not be getting business. So again, the employers are also getting more and more sophisticated in the informal sector self. They decide to focus on people, and I think a lot of that will happen more. In fact, I believe platforms, not just social media, instant chat channels, but platforms will be developed to start rating people in 2023.
Wow.
So if
you have to be lucky because the market is small.
Yes, market is small. One of the things that some of us are looking at doing in 2020 is building a place where you can rate drivers. So if there's a driver that has a bad attitude, that always has issues. If I have a drivers on Lagos Island, for instance, on a platform, and there's a league table that rates them, people can comment and rate them. The way you review any other e-commerce site, people will be more careful how they do. They won't just say, okay, I don't like this guy, I'll just leave. Because they know those can rate. So employers also need to innovate how they would work together, even though they are all competitors, but they still work together to get the best employees.
It signals on 91.3. We're talking being preparing for 2023. You talked about, while we're talking off, we talked about career sponsor. Tell us more about that. And then this time around, I want to hear you.
So a career sponsor is basically somebody who is interested in your career development. Somebody typically within your organization, if you're working in a structured, so to say, big business, who is speaking for you. Now, in any such organization, as a young employee, there are many places where you will be mentioned that you're not
aware of.
You're not aware of. There are decisions that will be taken that you're not aware of. There will be decisions even taken sometimes, depending on the structure of the organization, even above your immediate boss. A career sponsor, somebody not necessarily, typically it's not even good for you to be your direct boss, but somebody in the organization who can speak for you. Typically, they are the kinds of people you look at as coaches, mentors, leaders, thought leaders, even within your organization or outside. But what they do for you is that they're able to speak for you where you don't even know you need to be spoken for. They're able to point spotlights to you. Now, organizations need to develop that character, because nobody, the CEO at the top does not know what's going on at the bottom typically on a daily basis. So what you need from a career sponsor is somebody who's willing to speak for younger, somebody of influence, who's willing to speak for younger or less experienced employees who are developing their career in an organization. They can give you direction, they can give you touch points. So basically you could call them mentors or coaches. But typically, unlike regular mentors or coaches, they have influence to make decisions or what decisions are going to be made. So that's basically the idea of a career sponsor. And every employee needs to find a career sponsor.
Well, there's some people who you don't even know that they are career sponsors, right? But they just sort of push you. They just call somebody, okay, work with this person. Okay. And there's sometimes, even for career sponsors, they get to put their own integrity on the line for the person. And the person that they're putting doesn't even know about it. So what should we do
So that's why I said get a career sponsor. You need to be able to cultivate a relationship that makes you a career sponsor. That makes you somebody who needs to be sponsored.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't sponsor somebody who is not delivering.
Okay.
So first of all, the first work is, as a person, you must have an excellent spirit. You must somebody who delivers on their tasks. That's one. Two, you must be open to networking. Okay, so you must be willing. Again, you must understand the environment. Obviously, not all companies are the same. But if you have a company and there's somebody who's a leader in that company, who's a manager in that company, who has an open door policy, you must be able to identify that person. And you must be willing to take the risk. Life is all about risks. You must be willing to take this approach and say, oh, I need help in this area. Okay. Now, nobody has a label of career sponsor on their head. There are executives who don't want to talk to anybody. But there are also executives who are interested in the everyday activity that you do. I worked once with a Nigerian bank, a very big one, a tier 1 bank in Nigeria, and they had the concept of what they call reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring, where all these big executives don't know how to use Twitter. They will attach a small boy, maybe a graduate trainee, to them, so that as the graduate trainee is learning and being coached on bank policies and banking as a business, they are coaching the executive on using modern tools, how their social media profile matters, how what they post matters. Okay, and they're able to help them manage and see it, and then teach them how to use those tools. So again, the idea is that for companies, it's good for companies to promote the idea of career sponsorship, mentoring, and coaching within their ranks. For you as an employee, however, you need to be open, because a mentor a career sponsor will probably critique you a few times. They will tell you areas where you're not doing well, because they are going to put their integrity on line one day, and it's not as if the day you meet them, they will be a career sponsor for you. But once they see that you're a person of value, you are delivering quality, one day they'll be able to put you on line. And when things are happening around you that you are not aware of, they'll be able to give you some sort of indirect feedback of what is going on around you. So it's something that HR Department of Organization are taught to now develop, and it's something that we also would encourage employees themselves to take advantage of. And in cases where you don't have in your company, you can look for career sponsors outside your company.
Tell somebody to put in the word for us.
So again, I don't want to even just make it about putting a word for you.
Okay.
That is one major part of what the career sponsor would do. But the main thing is that the person is helping you to chart a direction for your career. He knows, you want to transfer to that department, don't transfer to that department. If there's an opening there may be a company where there's an opening for a role, and say, no. So and so sales people don't do well in that company. So these people are people who have a higher level of a better view of your industry, of your career direction, and they can give you. The key thing that they are aware of the areas where you want to develop your career in.
Okay. Still on, it's been hard having to keep talent, right? How do we make sure? Because now what I've heard you say so far is it's the honest lies on the employers, right? And having to make sure that employer branding, we're still coming back to it. But first, let's really look at who we are employing. Who are we employing? What people, and the best talents are going. How do we retain the ones that are in the house?
Okay. Obviously,
because you talked about having to go to schools. How do we?
So that's what I was going to go. Obviously, people generally work where they feel they're getting the best financial value, because people are exchanging their talents and time for money, typically. So there are aspects of it that would be beyond our control. The very fact that Western societies, which many of us even want to go before anyway, are giving offers is a major issue. However, I want to first of all let us know that there are a lot of people in this country and Africa who are staying back because they're either mission minded, they have other reasons to stay back, they have other plans that they are doing. Some people, even though they are working as they are building their own businesses, and they feel that there's a future in what they are building. So let's first understand that yes, there's a strong draw away for talent, but there's a lot of good people still around. So just to give us a sort of peace of mind. Second of all is, we have to be, as employers who need the employees, who need those talents, we have to be more innovative about how we get them. One thing that a lot of companies are doing is we are going further down the ladder. Before, you had to be a graduate and have 5 years experience by the time you are 18 before you even get a job. Right now, a lot of people are building graduate programs, internship programs as part of their standard employment strategy. So they are already keeping people from when those people are doing part-time in university or even full-time student university are taking time out to work on the side. We all know that having university education itself is not enough anymore. So a lot of people want to have those experiences even before they leave university, before they leave tertiary institutions. A lot of people are not just for university education but for talent. Can you write code? Now, while you are now at the organization, they now encourage you to do a part-time, even if it could be a foreign part-time BSc program or graduate program, but they know that you have the core talent. So again, it's no longer enough to just sit and say, well, there are a lot of jobs in the market, there are a lot of job seekers in the market, they will come. Employers now need to go out and look for the best heads, and you always hire for attitude and you train for skill. So you look for people with the right attitude. Okay, you may need to use headhunters, HR people who can perform that psychometric tests and other kinds of tests or whatever, but always look for people with the right attitude. You can always train for skills, but if somebody has an unfaithful, deceptive attitude, if for instance, like we found in the pandemic, people working for multiple companies, people who are working for you but they're not really doing your job, they're in Bahamas and they claim that they're working, you know, if you have people with those bad attitudes, if you hire them because they are very good but they have terrible attitude that you are able to spot early, then you are going to have problems because they will have zero loyalty to you. But there are employees you can help to buy into the vision of this. So for the second thing I said is we need to go lower. And when we go lower is we're hiring not only people that are graduate level, we're hiring people who may be below graduate level, but you sense in them they have a skill. Let me give you a good instance. A lot of tellers in the banks, a lot of customer service guys. Do you need a graduate degree to do those things? No. You need to speak well, you need to communicate well, you need to manage processes in the standard procedure, but you don't need to be all those things. Now, if you have tied yourself to, no, I want a graduate, there are a lot of young people out there who are not graduates, but who can do the job. 2, expand your circle of connections. There's a statement in the Bible that says a 3-cord is not broken quickly. Now, I've done just where I look for people from my church, people from my neighborhood, people I have another connection, that have another sense of loyalty apart from the money that they are making from me, other things that I have. People, a lot of hiring today is also done based on referrals. So I talk to my friend, who do you know that can do this? And then they tell, oh, this guy can do it. He has worked with me before. Now, based on all of those things, you are building other, maybe your professional society. You are an associate or a fellow in maybe ICANN, but they are student members. They are non-graduate members, undergraduate members of those societies. So it's not just to now wait for, you know, people that have a big resume. You can be the person creating that resume for them by starting them up. So those are things that we need to do as HR people to curb the brain drain. But in terms of the money, there's nothing we can do except we increase salaries.
Okay, then it signals on 91.3. We're talking preparing for 2023 with Akinjide Omojola. If you have questions and comments, call us. Call us 009-191-3913. Or send us a WhatsApp message 009-234-5913 or 009-222-0913. We're looking into 2023, preparing, being smarter with tech. Now, wait, let me go back a bit. You talked about political alignments. You know, I think there's this thing that's going on where you begin to ask people, so what are you for? Does that really matter? I saw a tweet and the person was talking about one of the political candidate and said, if anybody's voting, if anybody's standing behind this person, then he cease to be my friend, because people are almost canceling each other because of different political views. And we're going into 2023 and we want to be smarter with tech. How then do we balance so that we don't lose friends?
Well, so I mean, I'm not
no, I don't want to just. How can we just be smarter with tech?
No, so again, I just think, look, one of the things we need to consider as we enter a new year, the world is getting, privacy is getting to be a major issue.
Yes.
And you want to make sure that you don't alienate people. You want to be able to build friends across the aisle. Now, in as much as we need to express political views as human beings and it's political season, I hope that our listeners are not people who go into dangerous rhetoric, um, fake news rhetoric.
Okay.
You can have your political opinion
And
you
be
can
civil.
say and be civil about it. You can exit conversations and banter when it's getting heated. You can, I mean, there are just some smart things to do. There are situations you had that where your political opinion may not be there. Okay, so for instance, you're an executive in a company. You have contract with this current government, and you are championing
the other
the
candidate.
opposition. If they cancel your contract next year, when they come back inside, don't complain.
So you
too
have,
much.
we have to.
So we have to be very circumspect about how much of our personal opinion we release. We can still be influencers in many ways without so, because the problem with social media is once it's gone out there, it's out. You cannot retrace it. People are going to bring it back in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
You don't like a particular candidate, and in 5 years' time, as an employee, you are recruited by that particular candidate's company. HR, they ask for CV and your CV comes up. HR people look at your social media these days.
Why? Why should they look at our social media?
because again, first of all, technology has enabled lack of privacy. There's no anonymity anymore. In reality, that's one. Two is we're getting more interconnected. Is the effect of globalization. You can raise a movement here and it's supported from the US, from Canada, from that. So again, it's a two-edged sword. Okay, the same thing that exposes you to possibilities exposes you to risks. So it's for you to balance where you are, right? So those are the things I think we need to work on. Of course, also we also need to be careful in just general information management. Because a lot of crime gets committed these days because you are traveling abroad, you tell everybody. You are at church this morning, you tell everybody. You are at the amusement park, you tell everybody. So your neighbors know that this is time to break into your house because you're not there. So we just need to be very careful about.
It's not everything we say out.
Yes, and social media is such a marketplace.
It is.
Everybody all over the world is seeing you, literally. So just need to be careful.
Wait, now as an HR, I saw something online about a guy who lost his job at a prestigious media outfit because of a tweet he put out 10 years ago. Must that really count? And when I read it, the guy is saying that the mindset I was in 10 years ago, I'm no longer there, but why should this come at me now?
Yeah, so we are
because most what I'm asking this is if people are going to organizations, right, they would start to I know somebody said something, I think it was me, and said, please block all your bosses on your WhatsApp. I'm like,
even that will not be sufficient.
Really?
It won't be sufficient because again, even if you block your bosses,
you have friends.
You have friends who may be their friends, who may retweet your stuff, who may repost it and all that. So that's one. Number two is it's not even good to block your bosses because your bosses will know you are blocking them. And
but you know there's some bosses where, please let's remember that we're also human beings, right? But there's some bosses where they cannot remove their eye. They cannot just see something like this and move their eye.
So I agree with you, but you see, for me, I think I'm a more conservative advocate of the use of social media. I think people overly use. People are dying. They say, "Oh, I'm about to die." They tweet it.
That's scary.
So
sometimes it can be a call for help.
Yeah, no. Yes, exactly. So, but if you're not calling for help, if it's just you like to be in the news, then you'll be in the news because that's what you wanted. Right, so we've got to be again. What I would advocate is constructive balance. So there are things you need to post out there. Well, first of all, is the thing originating from you? If it's originating from you, it's your opinion. If you are aligning yourself with an existing opinion, you need to be more careful. You need to make sure that opinion is correct, it is safe, it is true, it is virtuous, and all those kind of things. I can disagree with you politically, but based on issues, not by saying this person is a stupid man. But when you say he's a stupid man, that language does not even encourage that you are good at engagement. Because in the workplace, you would have a lot of contradicting opinions too. So if you're someone that you're always insulting people or you're quick to tweet insults at your opponents politically, that already gives me a red flag about you. So again, that's the issue. But people should still be free to express themselves.
Some people, I don't believe you need to, but some people will say that people get judged because they're just causing trouble.
Well, maybe in the media.
But some people say that okay, I see how you and I have disagreed and somebody says, oh, go and get that person will be good for, some people are very good at spotting talent,
Yeah.
right, and saying, okay, this person will be a good fit for this thing, regardless of, okay, so we know the person has issues with attitude, how then do we balance that?
Yeah. So in the balance, yeah, I agree with you. In the workplace, there are people that they're troublesome, but they deliver, so you keep them. But you see, in the balance of it, we want less of those as human beings. You want less disruption.
Yeah.
Especially from an interpersonal relationship point of view. If that guy brings new ideas and what he thought about, fantastic. But if it's that this person is problematic, argues too much, does not cooperate with others, wants to work silo, doesn't want people to know what he's working on, is very secretive.
That's a problem.
Those are attitude issues that any trained HR person will spot and will not want to have in their organization because they're going to disrupt other things. So you don't want those kind of attitudes. Now, there are peculiar areas of work that require more disruptive persons, but they are not the majority. Most areas of work require people who can agree and disagree agreeably, right? People who can let you hear your opinion, but also to have strong convictions. But that doesn't necessarily make them insulting, loud, angry, and those kinds. So you need to look at what exactly do you want in this person. Is it, except you want, a WWF fighter, a wrestler, or
and that one that's for WWF, which will make us money.
But for regular, for the regular workplace, you want people who, even if they have strong convictions, are able to listen to others.
Yes, okay, that's one.
Process information.
Now, before we wrap up, I think my time is up. You talked about hire for attitude, train for skill.
Yeah.
Now, in your journey in HR with tech, have you been able to see someone for the first time and know that this person's attitude is good? Because that's
okay. Yeah. So one of the things internship programs do for you, and that's one of the strengths of internships, is it helps you to observe people for a while. An intern is not an employee. It's not a typical employee. It's not. There's no real long-term commitment to keep them. But what we have, for instance, in our organization is, if you look at our interns, we don't keep all of them.
Okay.
But the interns that if they come, maybe they came when they're doing CWES, this IT that they do, and when they finish school and they want to serve, we can say, oh please, if you are posted to our place, we would like to have you back.
Okay.
Because while they were there, they show some specific skills. So yes, you may not. There's no love at first sight or attitude at first sight.
I like that.
Kind of tool. But there are still things you can support even at those levels. I mean, people come in for interviews and they are rude. They are coming to look for the job and they're already rude.
Okay.
So you can imagine what they will do when they are actually taking. So there are all those kind of scenarios that we need to really understand.
Now, somebody from WhatsApp says, "My name is Okwe. Question for Mr. Akinjide. Any tips on children using tech safely?" Yeah, that's another conversation. But quickly.
Yeah. So again, yes, I think as a rule, I'll say as a parent, don't let your children use tech you don't understand.
Okay, say that again.
As a parent, don't let your children use tech you don't understand. A lot of people have put age limits on tech. I think I saw Bill Gates once say he will not let his children use tech until they are 15 or so. So you can do a lot of tactical decisions as a family. Agree with your spouse or with your partner, and agree how much you want to expose them to. But generally, you don't want to expose your children to tech that you yourself don't understand.
So it means that parents understand the tech before you give the children.
Oh yeah. So you know the boundaries, the limits, the controls. You allow children to use Twitter, but you don't know that there's grooming happening on Twitter. Or for instance, TikTok, and you don't know that the data is stored. Somebody else has access to them on TikTok and is turning their heads. It's causing a lot of problems in the West right now. So you just want to make sure that whatever tech you hand over to them, whether it's a phone, whether it's a PC, whether it's the internet, you yourself already know the limitations and boundaries, so you can set those parameters right before you expose them to it.
Okay, so parents know tech. Now, quickly, let's talk about TikTok. I read somewhere, and I don't know how true it is that the TikTok in China is different from the TikTok that they use in America and the TikTok that they use in Nigeria. Yeah. The TikTok in China, they've is educative for them, for in the West, but in Nigeria here is just for all. You see a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old on TikTok, and I'm wondering.
So I don't want to get into that because there's a lot of political and
undertones of
it in terms of the countries and how they work. But TikTok is essentially a Chinese software. Okay. Facebook's an American software. So countries, like we were talking when we were off air,
Yeah.
countries have agendas. Okay, and everybody ought to have an agenda. You also have an agenda, and that's why you treat your children different from you treat your neighbor's children. That's why you treat your family different from you treat your other family. So you always have to have an agenda, and sometimes agendas can be positive, they can be negative. The reality is this: I, as a person, don't recommend TikTok because of a lot of privacy issues. However, that's a whole
ball game entirely.
And I also think that every application, whatever that they have differential presentation in different countries based on data policy laws. There's a GDPR for Europe, for instance, that dictates how their data can be used, who can access their data, what you can use it for. There's NDPR in Nigeria. There's in Ghana. There's in Rwanda. We built a business. We built a business that will move to an African country a while back, and the next year the data protection laws. So we have to sort of revamp the nature of that app. So there are things like that happen every time, but people don't pay attention to T&Cs.
Terms and conditions apply. Anytime I see terms and conditions, I'm like, okay, so what is going on? My time is almost up, but in the new year, what do you want to see for tech and HR, for employers and employees?
Thank you. So for tech, I'm not sure. Okay, maybe what I would want to see is more interconnectivity.
Okay.
Well, thinking about this program, I was thinking, how do we approach this program? Do we approach this program for global trend for 2023 or local?
Let's do global and local.
There's something called local, and the reality is that it is completely different. The Western world is looking at genomics, nuclear fusion,
AI,
energy, nanotechnology, AI at a different level. We are still trying to even connect my Microsoft Word to another. So the requirements are different, but obviously 5G is going to grow, and so we hope that as it grows, at least in those of us in the suburban parts of urban parts of Nigeria, in the cities, we can get access to faster internet. That will really do a lot of good across for businesses. Of course, it also has its dangers, but overall, better, faster, more accessible internet is a good thing for those of us in business. We also hope to see more interconnectivity in terms of data systems. So one of the things that get more and more critical is identity management, BVN, NIN, all these things. Can we just have a single portal?
One central system.
Standardized against system where your data you don't have to go and fill this one and then fill this one and then fill this one and fill this one. And that's something that the economy will appreciate, because credit schemes, a lot of things depend on identity. And so if you can sort out the identity issue, security depends a lot on identity. Being able to say Akin is Akin, this is Akin, this is what he looks like, this is who he is. He's the one that did this transaction. So if you can sort that out, I think the economy will also grow faster. These are enablers for the economy. So I believe that those two things, right? And that I personally hope that in 2023 Nigeria as a country will make progress with.
Okay, so I can say Happy New Year. I can officially say Happy New Year. Well, okay, one more. Okay, please, can we get our guest Twitter handle? Is he on Twitter? He's on LinkedIn. Even me, I had to go for him on LinkedIn.
Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn. I actually am on Twitter, but I'm not a person on Twitter. I only use it to get news. I don't really do much of posting there. But for my LinkedIn, LinkedIn is linkedin.com/Akinjide Omojola.
Okay, then. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're doing 1 hour of great pleasure talking, preparing for 2023. Be smart with tech and be kind to people, because you don't know who's going to be your career sponsor. I remember early in the year, somebody, I think just from checking my WhatsApp status, recommended me for a job and put that integrity on the line, because I had to keep digging that, because I had not met this person and what has gone on, and I had to say thank you. And you just never can tell who is just watching. I finished, don't worry, you can enter till we come your way next week. Have a wonderful new year, and have a great 2023. Stay out of trouble, and all the uncles and aunties that used to promise us, please fulfill your promises.
Amen. Amen.
Have a wonderful week and God bless. Okay.
We need them to fulfill their promise.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Can't say.